with Jasmine, and I don't mean to just boast Jasmine entirely just because I'm talking to you, but it seems to be a higher quality clientele of models. I mean, you don't see a whole lot of jerks trying to stream and yelling at their members. They're just a lot of nicer models, and I mean, that's the long and short of it. It's just, that's why I prefer this website.
So you feel like the quality on Jasmine is much higher. And also it sounds like you feel like there's more of a relationship between model and member, as opposed to like, just as you mentioned, I think ways to generate just more money, but maybe less connection.
Right. It seems that way. I mean, the other types of sites that just focus around throwing the money around, you might have a model that's got 10,000 people watching them at that time, and there's no way to have any type of personal connection. And that's kind of the point. I mean, clearly this is for what it is. And men, women who use these sites, they're not looking for just, something they could Google search and find an image of, and then they're done. It's better to have that connection, because clearly we're not having that at home. So that's the whole idea. There's several models that I kind of gravitate towards. Yes, I do have a fairly extensive favorites list, but there's a few that I kind of look for, and I can log in and they're already saying hi to my username. I mean, they've seen me before. They already, even if I haven't gone to any kind of private chat rooms, they still know my name in there, and I communicate with them. I don't just, log in and that's that. I'll log in and I'll talk back with them, and then watch all the other members that are just saying all the lewd things and that they shouldn't really be there.
I like how you just point blank said the truth, and so clearly, which is, for the most part, members are not there just for something that they can go find for free.
Right.
The reason is deeper, and it ultimately is connection.
Yes, agreed.
You said it so perfectly and so clearly. And I think a lot of people don't understand that point.
I mean, think of the billions of websites there are on the internet, and how much percentage of that is pornography or just anything of that, or close to that nature, art sites, for instance. But yeah, there's plenty of campsites as well, but that's kind of the draw. That's what you're wanting, is somebody that you can communicate with, not just download a video or so on. So yeah, I'm just kind of reiterating myself now.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. And it's really nice to hear that you feel like LiveJasmin has done a good job of creating the right environment for connections to happen, as opposed to just the quick one and done situation.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have a favorite memory on LiveJasmin in your 10 plus years?
There was a model, I think she's basically retired herself now. It's been about 3 years or so that she's been on, that we would do private meetings, and she would do things that were not in her wheelhouse, and that was kind of what I gravitate towards. And there was one thing that she would never do, and going through several privates over the course of several months, just really spread out. One day she brought it up. She brought it up herself, because she knew what I had asked her in the past, and then it was like, bam, she's more comfortable now in trying something different that is not very common. So I'd kind of look back at that, because that was I hate to sound a little odd about this, but that was a very exciting moment for me. I mean, I was literally, my hands were kind of shaking, because adrenaline was like, this is happening.
Absolutely. I can see how that would be memorable. My next question, you probably have a really good perspective, because you have been a member for so many years. What would you say, if you can put into 1 or 2 words, the main benefit or value that the platform is bringing into your life, what would it be?
it's kind of the ease of use, I guess. That's the main benefit. I mean, there used to be the app for the phones, and that was a useful thing. I don't know if it still exists or not, but I just use the web platform. But it's very easy to navigate on web or on phone, and it's very accessible, I'd say.
And what value do you feel like you're receiving from the models in your life? Like, is it fun, connection, stress?
Yeah, I would say that connection. I mean, I hate to say it, but sometimes if I'm just driving around my work truck, but between things to do, I'll just sit there and see who's on and just talk for a few minutes, and that be that. Just having that smiling face, that's kind of helpful.
Absolutely. So it brings connection, and then just like, it sounds like you said, you'll be driving from location to location, and then having that smiling face, it's like bringing some type of just like lightness or joy into your day.
Right.
That makes sense. I like that. How often would you say you're on the site?
I'd say too often.
We like to hear that.
I don't spend a whole lot here and there because I don't have a whole lot, but when I do, there's a reason why I'm sending surprises or going private or whatever. But I'd say at least it's pretty much a nightly occurrence that I at least log on for a little bit.
Okay.
Whether it just be a couple of minutes to see who's on and then go about my business, or actually spend some time.
You mentioned one of your favorite models. She is very free. It sounds like in her very open, or a better way of saying that, she's very open-minded and seems to be very receptive to you. Have those positive experiences translated for you in your day-to-day life with dating? Do you feel more comfortable maybe opening up in a different way when you're in a relationship because of those positive experiences?
A little bit, because if you think about it, if you don't try, if you don't throw the fishing line out, you'll never catch a fish. I mean, and that's kind of what I do, and how I've narrowed down and single out who kind of fits my wheelhouse. But just, I'd say the one in particular, she's very easy to talk with, and even if I stick around for a couple minutes and say bye, that's there's an easy connection there, and I am very comfortable talking with her, even if it's just something silly, something about my day or what have you.
Mm-hmm. I love that. I love to hear everyone's stories, and it sounds like to me one of the ways that Jasmin has really served you is it sounds like there's preferences that you have that may be uncommon, but you can get those needs met through the platform. Absolutely.
And to be honest with, like I said, I've visited other platforms as well, and I don't see that. I don't get that. It's not really as available.
Mm-hmm. Is there anything about your experience with Jasmin or the models on Jasmin that we haven't talked about or touched on that you would like to share?
I like what I've been seeing recently just on the site itself with, this survey popped up, so that's an opportunity to just share things. But there's been some random surveys saying, what would you like to see on the site? And I mean, the last one that popped up, there were 5 options, and I would have liked to seen all 5.
I'm glad to hear that you've been enjoying all the changes.
Been very useful.
That's great. Yeah, some people don't like change, so it's nice.
Improvement is always progress, no matter what you're doing.
Amen. I love that. I love that. I like to end the interviews with one final question, which is just, what is something that you're the most grateful for in your life right now?
The fact that I'm doing an interview on a site such as this, or for a site such as this, makes this answer very out there. But my children, I have two little ones, and they're basically every moment that I have them, I am 100% with them.
That's very sweet. That's very sweet. And no, that doesn't make anything odd at all, that you're a loving father. That's beautiful.
Thank you.
Of course. And thank you so much for giving us your time and sharing your experience with us. We appreciate it very much.
You're welcome. Glad to help.
Absolutely.